This is one of the most damning reports I've ever had the misfortune of delivering, but buckle up because here it is. Britain is now the illegal immigrant capital of Europe. 1 in every 100 people in the UK are illegal immigrants. That's according to research by Oxford University experts. 1 in every 100 people. So it's at least 745,000 people. That's a city the size of Leeds, and there is an additional backlog of around 250,000 asylum seekers who are waiting for a decision or appealing a rejection. Apparently, we've overtaken Germany and France. So far, Keir Starmer has announced a load of things that weren't in his manifesto, like the winter fuel payment cuts and giving away a bit of British sovereign territory. But he hasn't done anything that was in his manifesto, like this.
Serious answer is to smash the gangs.
We have to take those gangs down, to smash the gangs that are running this vile trade.
973 illegal immigrants arrived on Saturday alone, a record day for the year. How many Channel migrants have we deported, I hear you ask? 3%. Yep, in the last 6.5 years, 97% of Channel migrants are still in the UK. But of course, they're all women and children, aren't they? 80% of them are males under the age of 40. This is according to research from Facts4EU. Let's have a look, shall we, at the latest crime stats now. Foreign nationals are apparently twice as likely to be arrested than Brits. The arrest rate for foreign nationals averaged 22.2 per 1,000 of the population, compared with 10.3 per 1,000 for British citizens holding UK passports. That is according to a Telegraph analysis of figures from 26 of the 43 police forces in England and Wales and census data. Now, across the 26 forces, and I will just at this point say that's the most detail that we can possibly get because the others, combined with the Ministry of Justice and the Home Office, etc., just won't give us the data. And, you know, you wonder why, don't you? But anyway, across the 26 forces, there were 140,163 non-UK national arrests over 3 years. That's out of a population of 2.1 million of them. It's quite high, that, isn't it? And here's the league table. We've got to say a big well done to the Albanians. They come out on top. They are in a league of their own. 101 illegal Albanian migrants were sentenced to more than 300 years in jail in 3 months at the end of last year. The Kosovans have really outdone themselves. They're in second. It's a shock entry, actually, in third. Really overperforming. It's the Vietnamese. Then we've got the Algerians, Jamaicans, Eritreans, Iraqis and the Somalis. And I think the Somalis will probably be a bit disappointed with that result, to be honest with you. But to top it all off, we are worse off financially per capita as well. So it can now be said, I think, with certainty, that the open border, mass migration, refugees welcome, bleeding heart liberals are just wrong, wrong, wrong. Let's get our thoughts from my panel this evening on Daily Express columnist Carol Malone, journalist and broadcaster Benjamin Butterworth, and the former chairman of the Conservative Party. It is Sir Jake Berry. Carol, so 1 in every 100 people in Britain is here illegally. It's astonishing.
It is more than astonishing. And, you know, Starmer's the man who said, you know, in pre-election that he had a ready-made plan to get rid of the backlog. He had a ready-made plan to stop the boats and that his border security force was going to stop the boats. It's not even up and running yet. He hasn't even, no one wants to take the job because they know it's a poison chalice. So all of the things he said he was going to do, he hasn't even begun to do yet to try and stop immigration. And, you know, when you think about it, you know, he has absolutely no deterrent. He has made this country, he's put out a flag that says to all, come here, there is nothing and no one that's going to stop you. And you know, you think about it, Rwanda was a deterrent. It was beginning to look like a deterrent. But everyone in the Labour government did everything to prevent that from working. They took it to the courts, they took it to the House of Lords, they tried to stop the migrant barges, they tried to stop migrants being put up on military sites. They did everything to stop the Tories dealing with illegal immigration. And now here they are. And this country is a mess. These figures are beyond shock.
Well, Jake, I'll come to you on this. So 80% of them are males under the age of 40 coming across the channel.
Fighting age.
Of which we have been able to deport a grand total of 3%.
Yeah.
Now, if you factor in some people who might have just got lost as French fishermen on the way here into that, then realistically, we've basically deported absolutely nobody. These are not needy women and children, or are they?
Well, look, my view is there's no such thing as an asylum seeker from France. They are not fleeing persecution in France. In my view, is none of them should be coming and we should send them all back to France. That's my base position. But actually, these figures, which are extraordinary. You think about it, you walk down your street and you see 100 people, one of them is going to be in this country illegally. It's just mind-blowing. But these figures are actually much worse than that because they don't include anyone who's crossed illegally into the country, because when they arrive here, they immediately claim asylum. It doesn't include the asylum backlog, so it would be much worse. It's probably nearer 1 in 80 or 1 in 90, and it's absolutely extraordinary. And just think back, and the Conservative Party needs to hold its hands up as well here, because they've been in government before Keir Starmer. No one voted for this, and that's why the British people are so angry. They look at it, they say, my country's changing beyond all recognition. I never gave you any permission to do this on my behalf and behalf of my community. And they're really, really angry. And those figures show that they're right to be angry.
Just before Ben comes in, there's a really important figure there. The former Border Security Force boss, a guy called Tony Smith, he said the figures that are here illegally, 745,000, he said double that. He said they are actually more than double that. So even that's not the real figure. So that's 2 cities the size of Leeds that are here.
Or 1 in 50.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 in 50.
Well, Benjamin, it's the crime as well, right? Now, we have been banging the drum for a very long time on this show to try to get accurate data released, which they do hold on crime by nationality, but more importantly, as far as I'm concerned, crime by asylum status. And they just won't give us that. The Telegraph have managed to compile a list, I think it was of 26 of the 43 police forces or whatever it is. So that's the best they can do out of it. But it's pretty grim reading, isn't it? And, you know, we are less safe, right, as a result of this?
Well, you know, nobody should be here illegally. That's not an argument about what you think immigration levels should be, and I think they should be high. But the point is, you know, the fact, it's no surprise that Albanians and Kosovans, which is much of a muchness, are the top, because they come here for organised crime. Albanians could legitimately come here on economic terms, but they come illegally because they want to be part of illegal networks. And that shows, frankly, that the approach of trying to smash the gangs is the right one, because they're operating in tandem to get to the country and how they behave once they're in this country.
But how are they going to do it, Ben? Because the Home Office has said today they've already disrupted the supply chain of gangs. Have they? Because if they have, we'd know about it.
We had a record day on Saturday.
Well,
exactly. So, how would we know?
Well, clearly they haven't, but they have appointed a new person to be in charge of this, right? That has happened.
They've had a meeting. It's all going to be fine. Sakir has had a meeting.
I mean, it's rich from you, because if there are 745,000 illegals in the country, they came under your watch, mate.
Yes, but
you know, the fact is, the audacity of James... Can I just say, the audacity of James Cleverly, Home Secretary, of Robert Jenrick, an immigration minister, to say they've got a problem with it. I'd sooner take a driving lesson from Stevie Wonder than advice on immigration from those blokes.
The Labour Party did everything in its power to thwart everything the Tories did to stop immigration.
Correct.
You know that.
They voted against the Rwanda bill. I was there. They voted against it every single time. And let's look at Keir Starmer's approach. Let's look at Keir Starmer's approach to smashing the gangs, because it was recently a huge success for the Home Office. They managed to disrupt a people smuggling gang that had allegedly made millions of pounds. They'd been responsible for 300 crossings, and cooperating with the French, our good friends, they sent them back to France, and the French took them to court. Guess what? They said, come back in a month's time and we'll sentence you. Now, I'm really shocked at this, because obviously these people smuggling gangs, they must be salt of the earth people, mustn't they?
Released.
They all did. Well, half of them disappeared, half of them turned up to be sentenced, and the French said, not satisfied with that, they said, well, the half of you that turned up, you come back in another month and then we'll sentence you. They're the people Keir Starmer says he's cooperating with. It won't work. You need a proper deterrent. Send them to Rwanda.
Where did the Home Office get off not telling us how many illegal immigrants are here? They're telling us it's none of our business.
They don't know they're here, do they?
But how dare they not publish figures? They don't do that. When the people of this country are paying for them, we need to know what we're paying for. I mean, and we don't.
I do remember a story from about 6 months ago that something like 15,000 people had disappeared that were on waiting lists, and they couldn't find them.
But then
the government couldn't explain that.
They tried to bracket a lot of that as these poor missing child migrants. And unfortunately, in my view, the reality will be a lot of those people were saying that they were children initially and had seamlessly managed to find their way into the black economy and, you know, been out and about there as so often is the case. But there is a catalogue there of absolutely, completely and utterly damning stats. So we are now the illegal migrant capital of Europe. We've had a record day in the Channel. We've got this migrant crime league table, which makes you wince, and people twice as likely to be arrested if you are foreign-born than if you are British. Nothing is being done about that at all. The case, surely, for this Refugees Welcome Brigade has just been utterly shattered.
Well, I think what the British people want is stop putting them up in a 4-star hotel, stop giving them £45 a week to live on, stop paying for their legal fees when they come into the country. No other country in Europe does that.
And that's why
we're
they're all
surprised that we're top of the league table. Well, no wonder. We're the softest touch in Europe. And that's what Carol says about deterrent. There is no deterrent once you abolish Rwanda.
For sure.
Benjamin, can I ask you, do you understand why there is this kind of undercurrent of potential social unrest when people who are British see this stuff?
Well, many of those people that went out and rioted who were committing crimes of their own,
come on,
so far more likely to be arrested
Talk
than
about
the British
issue at hand, not riots that happened 2 months
Those people
ago.
don't know the status of the people in front of them. All they see often is their ethnicity or maybe their religion. Now, I think one of the major pull factors, and we know this from the research, is that there is a massive black economy in this country of illegal people are making a living. If we had gone for ID cards that mean that when you try and get work, that when you try and get access to services, it would block them having any of those rights. And I think it's trying that libertarian fanboys drop their opposition.
But the pull factor is way more than that. The pull factor is way more than that. They come here, they get loads of free stuff. They get free housing, free education.
£45 a week is not a lot.
Hang on, free housing, free healthcare, free education.
Dentistry.
Come on, free everything.
And by the way, Benjamin, we already have a system. You're not legally allowed to work in the UK without a national insurance number. If you're here illegally, you can't get a national insurance number. Why do you need an ID card?
Because it would make it so much more difficult, and there are lots of employers.
These people are criminals. It doesn't matter what you do. You shouldn't let them in. They're criminals.
Most comparable companies have ID cards, and it helps them, and they have no arrests.
Starmer has no plan to deal with any of this, and we know that. We know he hasn't, because he said he did have, and nothing's been put into operation.
Well, this is it. I'd have felt more comfortable that he was going to do something about it if he'd left it out of his manifesto.
Yes.
Because so far we've just seen things that he never mentioned. They're getting rolled out toot sweet, aren't they? That's why we don't need to recall Parliament to give away a bit of British sovereign territory. Oh, we can freeze pensioners to death. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, if it was in the manifesto, it doesn't look like it's happening. Anyway, lively start. Thank you very much.